Mr. Oz's mysterious identity is set to be revealed later on this year, with a huge event taking place in Action Comics as a lead up to the universe-shattering events of DC's Doomsday Clock event at the end of the year. Like my previous video on this subject, I will use this video to throw out some possible identities of Mr. Oz based on both new evidence as well as things writers like Geoff Johns has said regarding both this event and Doomsday Clock. So lately, Mr. Oz has been pretty quiet within the DC universe, only appearing every now and then to relay some cryptic messages or proclaiming his eagerness to reveal the truth to Superman and his family. Recently, he's been busy dealing with escaped inmates of his interdimensional prison, recapturing Tim Drake and possibly Jay Garrick, whom escaped to save Flash and Batman from the face of quote-unquote God. But as of Action Comics issue 984, Mr. Oz returned to aid John Kent in his first fight with General Zod. We aren't too sure how he managed to contact him, but he is readying himself for the spotlight, as he says he is eager to meet Lois Lane and prove her wrong. Anyway, new information and art may point to a few identities Mr. Oz could be. I'll start with one that's so insane it could possibly be true. So recently at San Diego Comic-Con, Geoff Johns revealed some information about Doomsday Clock, saying that the story isn't about Superman, it is Superman, and that it stretches his whole history and the history of the DC universe. Now, with that only really being the evidence to support this, I'm gonna say that Mr. Oz is actually William Dunn, the original Superman. William Dunn first appeared in January of 1933 in Reign of the Superman, the first story written by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster to use the word Superman. William gained powers from a scientist after he exposed him to a meteor rock. With his new powers, which included the control of human minds, the poor man quickly became corrupted, wanting to rule the world. After battling the scientist that gave him his powers, his own abilities wore off. William was Jerry and Joe's first use of the word Superman, but this incarnation didn't really last long as the writers quickly moved on to more traditional Superman stuff and the creation of Action Comics issue 1. In relation to Geoff Johns' comments about Doomsday Clock going back to the beginning of DC Comics, one could say that this incarnation of the Superman really was the beginning. Mr. Oz also exists outside the DC universe in his own reality, much like how this Superman existed in his own before Joe and Jerry rewrote the character into the one we know. Because of this, he has watched someone else take his name, his powers, and everything about him and sort of twist it, and maybe he's not too happy about that, and it's only now that he's been able to do something about it. The next identity of Mr. Oz is still a little bit insane, but one that I find pretty intriguing if true. Given Mr. Oz's penchant for saying that he trained Superman, I believe that he could be one of two characters. The first one being Jor-El, Superman's biological father. Now we know Superman's biological father has kind of trained him thanks to the crystals in the Fortress of Solitude and all sorts of like holograms and stuff and everything, but what really interested me is like how he was being Mr. Oz. So maybe somehow he happened to find out what Dr. Manhattan did when he splintered the universe, and in doing so splintering Superman, and wanting his son whole again to either help him battle Dr. Manhattan or protect the universe as the proper true Superman. Jor-El has been trying to train, quote unquote, the different aspects of his son, like the New 52 aspect and making the splintered parts fuse together, which we saw in Superman Reborn, and he never managed to do it until Superman Reborn, hence why when we see Mr. Oz during Superman Reborn, during Superman's fusion of the blue and red parts of him, he's kind of surprised that it actually worked and surprised that it actually came together. The other identity he could be is Jonathan Kent, Superman's adopted father. Through the New 52 and now Rebirth, we know the Kents are long dead, but as of Superman Reborn and Clark's history being reshaped, his parents' history has been kind of a little bit shadowy and we haven't really talked about it all that much. We have, however, seen Pa Kent quite a few times, most recently when Clark was quote-unquote training John with the lessons that Pa Kent trained Clark under. Even some of Oz's dialogue from the early appearances in the New 52 Superman, he says that he taught Clark never to give up, just something that Pa Kent would always hammer home into his son. It kind of makes sense there a little bit, but also there's kind of stuff like, how would he have gotten access to interdimensional stuff? Was this something to do with Dr. Manhattan maybe taking that part of Pa Kent away and Pa Kent seeking revenge maybe and finding this interdimensional prison and everything? It's definitely very weird. So those are the three possible identities based off new information we've learnt from the past year of DC Rebirth and from the writers teasing upcoming projects. Whatever the reveal is on the upcoming Oz storyline, I'm sure it will be surprising and welcome to all of us fans. Let me know in the comments below what you think Mr. Oz could be and who he could be. Hey everyone, thanks for watching my newest video. If you enjoyed it, you might also like to check out my other reviews here on my channel. You can also follow me on various social media platforms like Twitter by searching Matt_FOS, or even join the Comic Multiverse Discord server and chat with other comic book fans, including myself and Joel from Cape Joel. Want cheap comics and trades? Head over to the book depository with the link in the description to get the cheapest trades and comics around, along with free shipping anywhere in the world. Until next time, this has been Matt of the Fortress of Solitude. Thank you so much for watching.